Even though the election was 2 weeks ago, Mark Carney's Liberals still keep stacking up those seats. The Quebec riding of Terrebonne flipped to the Liberals by one vote after a judicial recount. The Liberals now have 170 seats in the House of Commons, just too shy away from a majority government. What is going on? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Jonny Says So, episode 46. And unfortunately, we are still talking about election results tonight, as there are still recounts going on to this day, 2 weeks after the election. And the most recent one saw the Liberals pick up the seat by just one vote. That's right, guys. Check this out.
We have some breaking news on the election front. CTV News has confirmed with multiple sources that the Quebec riding of Terrebonne has flipped to the Liberals. A judicial recount shows the Liberals have won the riding by just one single vote over the Bloc Québécois. That brings the Liberal seat count in the Parliament to 170. And take a look at this, just 2 seats shy, less than what is needed for a majority government. Recounts are underway in 3 other ridings at the moment.
That's right, guys. Recounts are going on in 3 other ridings. But before you get all alarmed, because I know there's a lot of people talking about how this is going to somehow lead to a Liberal majority, at least on paper, that is not going to be the case. Because, don't forget, guys, that 2 of these 3 are currently already being held by Liberals. So, although it could potentially get them to 171, there is the slim possibility that the Conservatives could pick them up. But if I were a betting person, I wouldn't bet on it.
Let's now bring in Scott Reid, CTV News political commentator. Scott, good evening. Great to have you on the show. Almost 2 weeks out, election results continue to flip. It's remarkable what we're seeing with this election.
Yeah, it's certainly remarkable, isn't it? He seems very happy that the Liberals have seemed to have pulled this off by a single vote.
Election night's been 13 days long. It is fascinating to watch. Can you imagine losing a riding by one vote? And you think of every family member who maybe got too busy picking up the kids and forgot. It would just haunt you like a ghost. But, what's the big takeaway here? We got 3 other judicial recounts. Some could flip Conservative to Liberals. Some could flip Liberal to Conservative. At the end of the day, the Liberals are not going to end up with an actual technical majority, but it just reinforces fundamentally that they have a working majority in the House of Commons. They're a whisker away from having that majority. And of course, we have.
And that's just the point, guys. Although they technically won't come out of these recounts with an official majority, this brings them ever closer to having essentially a working majority. Because if they get 171, it's only going to take one vote, and it's only going to take one MP crossing the floor. Now, as for finding a workaround for not technically having a majority, it seems the Liberals are already putting out feelers, as the NDP likes to put it.
After Mark Carney fell 3 seats short of forming a majority, Neithu, the newly minted NDP interim leader, says the Liberals have come knocking to try and poach NDP MPs.
I do know that there's been certain calls made by Liberals. I would probably describe them more as feelers that have been put out.
But Don Davies believes none of the 7 elected New Democrats will cross the floor to the Liberals.
Our NDP caucus colleagues have committed to being strong, united New Democrats.
We asked the Prime Minister's office if they're trying to pick off any NDP MPs, but they had no comment. While calls like
no comment. That's classic politician speak for yes.
These are likely taking place. Davies and Carney have yet to speak, but when they do, Davies said his first focus will be asking Carney to give the NDP official party status in Parliament, which they lost after failing to get 12 MPs elected. Status would give the NDP regular speaking slots during question period, seats on committees, and money to hire additional staff.
Money to hire additional staff. That would be a great motivator for one MP to take one for the team and cross the floor. in my opinion at least. Now, they like to claim that they're going to stand by their principles, whatever those are, being the party that was absolutely decimated into oblivion in the last election. It seems to me that one of them might just come to the conclusion that they have nothing left to lose. Now, as for one of the ridings that the Liberals could stand to lose, judicial recount in now Liberal riding of Milton East-Halton Hills South to begin next week. After a vote validation process last week, the riding flipped to the Liberal candidate after the Conservative was originally declared the winner. So this is one of those things, guys, where it was such a small margin that the Liberals took this one that it's going to trigger an automatic recount. But what is very interesting about this is it shouldn't have been this way at all. Check this out. This is from X. There you go, PPC bros. Gave the Liberals another seat on recount. Almost at majority level now. You absolute idiots. That's right, guys. This is just another example of the PPC taking a seat away from the Conservatives. After all, the PPC campaigned against the Conservatives and not the Liberals. Look at this, guys. This is actually pretty crazy. The Liberals took this one by 32,130 votes compared to the Conservatives' 32,101 votes, and the PPC got 472. So this recount probably wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for the PPC's share of the votes here. And finally, last but not least, we have the recount in the riding of Windsor-Tecumseh-Lakeshore, where the Liberals are, quote, confident that they are going to find the votes that they need.
I'm Emma Loop. On Friday afternoon, a judge told Ontario's Superior Court of Justice here in Windsor that he was approving a recount in the federal riding of Windsor-Tecumseh-Lakeshore. Justice Ross McFarlane told the court that he had heard enough evidence from lawyers for Liberal candidate Eric Kuzmierczyk to justify the recount.
We feel confident that we're going to find those votes, but all we asked for is a shot and a
He feels confident that he's going to find the votes. He seems pretty sure of himself.
second look, and that's what we were granted. Now it's like the playoffs, you know. You fought to get into this opportunity, to have this chance, and now it's up to our volunteers again, our recount teams and our council to clinch it.
Now look, I know most Canadians care more about sports and hockey than they do with politics, the direction the country's headed, and the future of their family. I get it. Bread and circus and all that. But this sports analogy, like, it doesn't seem to make any sense to me. Like, in the playoffs, you don't get to go again if you lose.
Kuzmierczyk lost by only 77 votes to Conservative candidate Cathy Borelli in the April 28th federal election. That's just 7 votes shy of an automatic judicial recount. Kuzmierczyk's team presented more than a dozen affidavits from campaign scrutineers. They say they saw wrongly rejected ballots or counting errors. Borelli said in a statement that she respected the judge's decision and would fully cooperate with the process. Lawyers for Borelli, Kuzmierczyk, and Elections Canada will next meet on Monday to finalize the details of the process. They're discussing starting the recount after the Victoria Day long weekend. In the meantime, key staff are working on recounts in other ridings. The recount here is expected to wrap up before Parliament returns on May 26th. Emma Loop, CBC News, Windsor.
So there it is, guys. They're not even in any hurry to do these recounts. They're going to start them sometime after the May long weekend and hopefully before Parliament reconvenes. Now, in my opinion at least, they're doing this because they don't want it to be on the heels of the Liberals picking up that other riding. The general public have very short attention spans, so they want to space these two things out as much as possible. And there it is, guys. Yet another election where the results drag on for days and weeks. Gone are the days where you would go to bed on election night and know exactly what happened. Advance voting, in my opinion, should have made things simpler, right? But it always seems to make things needlessly more complicated. Just like the 2020 election in the United States, This one is, I'm sure, to generate some controversy. And speaking of which, guys, if you start to see posts on Twitter demanding you come out and protest the election results, don't take the bait. There's nothing the liberal media and establishment want more than to see people freaking out about the election results and protesting so that they can call us all seditionists. Don't take the bait, guys. And that's my show for tonight, guys. Now it's time to turn it over to you guys in the comments. Do you think the Liberals are going to find a way to get to 172 one way or the other? And as always, smash the like button, hit subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.